What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you don't remember, we bought this waterlogged jet ski from Copart during a hard freeze, and turns out in the last video we found some bad news. There's a hole at the bottom of the boat, so we're gonna get the engine pulled. That way we can work from the outside and the inside and see if there's any more problems. But the good news is that we'll get to get some experience on some fiberglass work, because we haven't done that since the C5 Corvette, and that was a couple of years ago. So let's get started and see what else we find.
Alright, so if you remember from the last video, was flushing the engine, like fill it with oil, spin it over, and then pump it out with our oil pump. So I was going back watching our video, and when we was disconnecting these hoses and water was pouring out, I noticed we had water pouring out the bottom of the jet ski, and that didn't look right. So I came out here and looked, and then there's a hole in the bottom, which is kind of hard to see because that beam was blocking, and it's not a bad hole. So I'm assuming that's what happened to the jet ski, because this mirror's tore off, so they probably ran into a deck and hit a piling, and then it kind of sunk and then filled it up with water. So I think the best thing we can do is take all the hoses off first, pull the engine out, do some fiberglass work, and then we might be able to clean the engine up better with it out. So let's do that, start taking these hoses off, and just a little bit at a time, see what's next. Alright, we took a lot of pictures, that way we know where all the hoses go, because it's going to be kind of hard to remember otherwise.
And if you remember from the last video, we didn't know what this aluminum box was for, but we figured out this is the intercooler, and this jet ski has a turbo, it's turbocharged.
Yeah, here's the turbo right here. So this had water in it too, so hopefully the turbo's not damaged, because that would be expensive to replace. To get the engine pulled, we're going to use a come-along. If you remember from the Camry build, we used the engine hoist, but it was just too big. It took up too much room, so we got that sold. And we found us what's it called? I-hook? I-hook or I-bolt. We got it mounted into the beam in the attic, and it's rated for like 2,500 pounds. So this low engine here is probably 600-700 pounds, so it should be fine.
And this is the come-along we're going to use.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but that engine hoist, we want to get a foldable kind, that way we can just store in here. We had it stored outside, it was just humongous. So we're going to get us one of those. Maybe by the time we put it back in, we'll have a real engine hoist, and it'd be much easier, because there's not very much room to ease this low engine out of. It's going to be a tight squeeze to get it out. Alright, Tyler's taking a bolt out one of the engine mounts. There's three, one in the front, there's one in here, then one through there. We're going to take those, that way we can kind of wiggle the engine. We got most of the hoses disconnected. This is pretty tight. I think once we wiggle the engine, that'll break loose. Alright, I think we got everything disconnected. Maybe a throttle cable left. This is still connected, but when we start pulling on it, that should disconnect. I don't know how the impeller is connected. I'm thinking it's a coupling that slides over a fitting. So if we slide the engine that way, it should disconnect. I might try to hurry up and watch a little video on it or something, but we're going to go ahead and hook our chain to it, put a little tension, see if we have anything still connecting to it. So let's try to get this. This ain't most ideal. Chain fall would be much better. I think I'm going to hang it upside down instead of putting this hook at the top and this lever be right at the ceiling. I'm going to hang it the other way, so we just have to work this chain out. So let's get this hung and try it out. Alright, so we wasn't able to bring the engine straight up. I thought we'd be able to bring it up and slide it to get it off this shaft. But you have to take this piece right here, slide it back, and there's this little C-clamp, whatever it's called, C-ring. You're supposed to use a tool, it's $100 and something bucks. So I used a crowbar. Use this little piece of wood and slid it back that way, and took the piece off. So now Tyler's remove that, and now we're taking this out. Then we better slide the entire shaft out, and then the engine should come straight up.
All right, so we just got the engine pulled up. It was a little bit more difficult than we thought it was because some parts kept getting stuck. What?
These motor mounts.
Motor mounts.
Yeah, we had to scoot the whole jet ski up because right here is your widest part. So we just finally moved it up and it finally came out.
So we're gonna push the jet ski forward, and I guess we're gonna put the engine on that. That way we can start looking into this hole.
Yeah, we're gonna have to give this a good cleaning, sand it down, and then start fiberglassing.
Think it's gonna be easy?
Nothing's easy, but we'll get it. Just the engine, if we sold this on eBay, we'd get all our money back for the jet ski. So worst case, we just list the engine, but might as well try to fix it. I think we have one more hose. Yep, got a hose right here holding. So we need a screwdriver, take that off. I don't know how we're gonna remember where each hose goes. Alright, Tyler's cleaning the bottom, getting a lot of that mud, and we're going to push it outside and wash it. But there's that hole. So I think we could fix it. It ain't too bad. Let's push it out. Got the hose. We're going to wash it real good and degrease it. Try to get all the sand out. We're going to degrease it real good. Make sure you get the left side all the way. It's cracked a good bit, so we're gonna have to sand it down all the way in the crack, and then fiberglass all the way up here. It's gonna be stronger than what it was when we from the factory. You gotta do the inside first, and then that way you sand the bottom down a good bit, and then you do the bottom last.
All right, so we got the bottom all flushed out with water. We got it degreased, and in the morning we're gonna start sanding and then start working on the fiberglass. So we'll see you in the morning.
All right, guys, it's the next day. We're gonna get started on this fiberglass. I think what we're gonna do, I got a Dremel. We're gonna cut away a lot of the rough pieces, and I got another piece. I'm gonna go along these cracks, kind of sand those out. And I have some 40 and 60 grit. I'm gonna try this sander first because I want to get rid of a lot of this sandpaper. But we're gonna have to come way out here. We're gonna be doing all of this with fiberglass. It's gonna be stronger than what it was from the factory. So we're gonna do the inside first. When we get the inside done and cured, we're gonna jack it up. That way we can get under it and then fiberglass the bottom. So let's get started. right, next I put some tape on this cardboard, and Tyler's gonna get under the jet ski and tape this to the bottom. That way when we're working, we'll have a flat surface for the fiberglass. Just tape it to the bottom real good. Just like that.
All right, so we're gonna use some of this fiberglass that we used from the Corvette like 2 or 3 years ago. And then we bought us some paintbrushes and a roller, so we're gonna see which one is better.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be just enough to get us started on the inside. Then we'll go to the boat store, because they got some of the better stuff for fiberglass. So this will get us going, get it patched up. And you gotta let this cure for a while before you sand it and do the bottom. And this stuff gives off a lot of heat too, so you don't wanna do too much at once, or it could catch on fire. So hopefully this stuff's still good. We're gonna mix it up and start putting some fiberglass down.
All right, we're making some pretty good progress, but we ran out of fiberglass, so we're gonna go to this marine shop down by the lake to pick some more up. But we just have to fill in those spots right there.
Yeah, we probably need 3 or 4 more sheets just for the inside. It went a lot quicker than I thought.
And then underneath, it might be pretty hard because it's pretty tight, so how are we gonna get under there?
I guess we'll use this lifting lug. We got our hook that'll hold about 2,500 pounds, so we'll just come along it up. That way we can get under it. We'll prop it up with some jacks or something.
It's gonna be pretty cool.
All right, we're back. We had to go to 2 different stores. We went to a place right by our house and they didn't really have any, so we had to go to West Marine. And this stuff was outrageous. Could have spent half of that if we'd have just got it on Amazon, but we wanted to go ahead and just get it done today. So it's coming out great. We're gonna cut a few small pieces and build this up, and then put a bunch of big sheets down, maybe 3 or 4 more, and that'll make the bottom super strong. And this stuff here, you have to read the back, but this is 5-to-1. So we're gonna mix up like 5 ounces to 1 ounce of hardener, because you don't want to mix up too much at one time. And then Tyler, whenever you're pulling them, instead of cutting them with scissors, it's better these strands kind of weave in. So we'll just build this up, just keep pulling them off like that, and I'll keep putting some epoxy to it. Let's get going and knock this out. All right, we got about 5 or 6 layers of fiberglass on. It looks pretty good. So I think the inside is good. We're gonna let this dry overnight, and tomorrow we'll start on the outside. We're gonna string it up, raise up the jet ski, that way we can get under there and have some room to work. We're gonna sand it and then just do the same thing. Put several layers of that and then sand it. Then you have to come back with fairing compound and paint it, because it's the outside and you want that smooth, and you want to have to get some more gel coat to repaint it. So it's coming along. Fiberglass works pretty easy. It's nothing hard about it. So get that done. We'll put the engine back in. I think the engine's going to be fine. And put it in, and everything should be good. So make sure you stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, and we will see you next time.